Hello everybody, welcome to our Group 4 presentation. And today, Group 4 will present to you chapter number 3, Managing Environment and the Organization Culture. So we should begin with the manager, opponent, or symbolic. In chapter number 1, we have known about the important role of manager in organizations. In an organization, performance are assumed to be due to the decision and actions of its manager. So, how much the difference the manager make in how an organization performs? Opponent view of management is known as the view that managers are directly responsible for an organization's success or failure. And this view of managers is consistent with the stereotypical picture of take-jar business executive who overcome any obstacle in seeing that organization achieve its goal. In contrast, others have argued that much of organization success or failure is due to external forces outside manager control. In that perspective, is called the symbolic view of management. This view is labeled symbolic because it's based on the belief that manager symbolize control and influence. But how? By developing plans, making decisions, and engaging other managerial activity to make stand out of random, confusing, or ambiguous situation. But in reality, managers are neither all powerful nor helpless, but their decisions and actions are constrained. As you can see in Exhibit 3.1, external constraints come from the organization environment. Why? The internal constraints come from the organization culture. So we will moving on with the external environment. So external environment are those factors and forces outside the organization that affect its organization performance. The external environment includes several different components, which is economic, demographic, political, legal, technological, social culture, and global. But we will wrap this section by examining the economic environment and the demographic environment. So in the economic, like many global business, nextly is facing increase commodity costs, which you can know as the cost of raw material. Every year they have spent more than 30 billion to buy raw material, but commodity cost is just one of many economic factors facing organization, and managers need to be aware of the economic context so they can make the best decision for their organization. About the demographic, the size and characteristic of a country population can have a significant effect on what is able to achieve in politics, economy, and culture. Accessing environmental uncertainty. Environmental uncertainty refers to the degree of change and complexity in an organization environment. An organization complexity refers to the number of components in an organization environment and the extent of the organization knowledge about those components. Last but not least, we're going to know about managing stakeholder relationship. The name of stakeholder relationship is another way in which the environment influence managers. The more obvious and secure that these relationships, the more influence manager will have over organizational outcome. And beside that, we are going to beside that, having a good relationship with stakeholder bring a lot of benefit too. Improve predictability of environmental change, increase successful innovations, increase trust among stakeholders, greater organizational flexibility to reduce the impact of change.
Next, we are going to study about organizational culture. So, what is organizational culture? It is a shared values, principles, traditions, and ways of doing things that influence the way organizational members act and that distinguish the organization from other organizations. In many organizations, cultural values and practice evolve over time. Our definition of culture implies three things. The first is perception. It is based on employee experience within the organization. The second is descriptive. It is concerned with how members perceive the culture and describe it. And finally is a shared aspect. Employees share perception and experience. Research suggests 7 dimensions of culture that seem to capture the essence of an organization's culture. These dimensions are ranged from low to high. The 7 dimensions are attention to detail, outcome orientation, people orientation, team orientation, aggressiveness, stability, innovation, and risk-taking. In many organizations, one cultural dimension often is emphasized more than the others and essentially shapes the organization's personality and the way the organization works. For example, Sony Corporation focused on product innovation and risk-taking. The company lives and breathes innovation, and employees' behavior support that goal, which implies product orientation. But in contrast, Southwest Airlines focus on its employees and has made them a central focus of its culture, which implies people orientation. This slide illustrates how the dimensions of culture can create significantly different cultures. Both Organization A and Organization B are manufacturing firms, but each company emphasizes a different dimension that have shaped organizational culture. This table illustrates a comparison between the strong culture and the weak culture. All organizations have a culture, but not all cultures equally influence employees' behaviors and actions. Strong cultures are organizational culture in which the key values are intensely held and widely shared. The more employees accept the organization's key values and greater their commitment to those values, the stronger the culture. The stronger the culture becomes, the more it affects the ways managers plan, organize, lead, and control. Strong cultures are associated with high organizational performance. So, where cultures come from and how it continues. This exhibit illustrates how an organization culture is established and maintained. There are a few things we need to take note. Organizational culture usually reflects the vision of the founder. The small size of most new organizations make it easier to establish organizational culture. Once culture is established, organizational practices have to maintain it. Finally, the actions of top managers also have a major impact on the organization's culture. So, how employees learn culture? The most common ways are stories, rituals, material symbols, and language. Stories are organizational stories where significant events in the life of the company help keep culture alive. Rituals, repetitive sequences of activities that express and reinforce important organizational values and goals. Material artifacts and symbols convey to employees what is important and the kinds of expected behaviors, for example, risk-taking, conservative individualism, and so on. And finally, language. Many organizations or units of an organization use language to identify and unite members of a culture. The employees are frequently overwhelmed with acronyms and jargon that quickly becomes a part of the language. Once learned, this language acts as a common denominator that points members. In this life, a manager's decisions are influenced by the culture in which she or he operates. An organization's culture, especially a strong one, influence and constrain the way managers plan, organize, live, and control.
So let's move on to how to create an innovative culture. First, it is a challenge and involvement. Every employee should be involved in, motivated by, and committed to the long-term goals and success of the organization. Second, it is the freedom. It is very important that every employee have the ability to independently define their work, exercise discretion and take initiative in their day-to-day activities. Third, it is trust and openness. Employees of any company should give support and respect to each other. Fourth, it is ideal time. Every individual in the company should get out to elaborating on new ideas before taking action. Fifth, it is the playfulness and humor. Any workplace should have the spontaneity and fun, which can reduce the stress of the employees. Sixth, it is conflict resolution. Every individual in the company have to make decisions and resolve issues based on the good of the organization versus personal interest. It is the debate. Every employee should be allowed to express their opinions and put forth their ideas for consideration and review. Last but not least, it is the risk-taking. Every manager should tolerate uncertainty and ambiguity, and the employees should be rewarded for taking risks. Now, let's move on to how to create a customer-responsive culture. There are 5 characteristics of a customer-responsive culture. They are type of employee, type of job, environment, empowerment, role clarity, and consistent desire to satisfy and delight customers. In terms of every characteristic of customer-responsive culture, there are some suggestions for managers. To the types of employee, the managers should hire people with personalities and attitudes consistent with customer service, friendly, attentive, enthusiastic, patient, and good listening skills. As to the types of job environment, the managers should enjoy jobs so employees have as much as control as possible to satisfy customers with the rigorous rules and procedures. As to empowerment, the manager should give service contact employees the discretion to make day-to-day decisions on job-related activities. About role clarity, the managers should reduce uncertainty about what service contact employees can and cannot do by continual training on product knowledge, listening, and other behavioral skills. The last characteristic is consistent desire to satisfy and delight customers. The suggestion for managers here is to clarify organizations' commitment to doing whatever it takes, even if it is outside an employee's normal job requirements. Moreover, research also shows that customer satisfaction is directly related to customer spending and consumption. As a result, satisfied customers will be repeat customers for businesses. Now let's move on to spiritually and organizational culture. Workplace spiritually is a culture where organizational values promote a sense of purpose through meaningful work that takes place in the context of community. Organizations with a spiritual culture recognize that People have a mind and spirit, signify meaning and purpose in their work, and have a desire to connect with others and be a part of a community. In conclusion, the 5 cultural characteristics of spiritual organizations. First is the strong sense of purpose. The culture should be built around a meaningful purpose. Second is the focus on individual development. The managers should recognize worth and value of individuals. Third, it is a trust and openness. It is characterized by mutual trust, honesty, and openness. Fourth, it is the employee empowerment. Managers should trust employees to make good decisions. And the fifth, it is the tolerance of employee expression. Employees should be free to express their emotions.
The application 1, going to extremes, is about Zappos and its corporate cultures. To the 360, we need to find a list of 10 of Zappos values. So it's right here. The 10 core values of it: delivery while through service, embrace and drive change, create fun and little weirdness, be adventurous, creative and open-minded, pursue growth and learning, build open and honest relationship with communication and a positive team and family spirit, and so on. Next to the 17. Okay. With the combination of the list and exhibit 3.5 high in this area, and so is the team orientation. In innovation and risk taking area, I think the Zappos is very high in this area, and so is the team orientation, because 10 core values of Zappos focus on be adventurous, creative, and open-minded. It's like you need to take a risk in order to achieve something greater, and it's like that. And you have to have a strong teamwork, like build a positive team and family spirit. So I think that the Zappos in this innovation and risk-taking area and team orientation is very high. How did Zappos corporate culture begin, and how is Zappos corporate culture maintained? Yeah, if you read in the case study, Zappos corporate cultures begin in 2000 when Tony Hurst became the CEO of Zappos. Yeah, this was Tony Hurst who started corporate cultures, and he became the CEO in 2000 and started during the time. He believed that Zappos is not only selling shoes, so he do many ways to maintain the corporate values of it. Values will always produce the best organizational performance. I might agree with this or not. Like, okay, I'm totally agree with this opinion, because if you have good manners, if your company have good manners and have a good customer service, like how you treasure your customer and how you do things ethically, people will credit you more, and your company values will increase significantly. What could other companies learn from Tony Hurst and Zappos experiences? Yeah, I think that other companies should look up to Zappos, because Zappos have a very high ethics and corporate values. They have teamwork spirit, and they treasure the social values, and so I think that the other companies need to learn this from them. Like the other companies need to learn the 10 core values of Zappos. To the next case application. It's like case application 2. To the case number 2, like not so out. Okay. On this case study, it's mainstream. It's mainly talk about how movie theater industrial do compete with each other. So the problem here is they don't know how to achieve higher profits and focus on their customers. Okay, 321. Using Exhibit 3.2, what external components might be the most important for managers in movie theater chains to know about? Yeah. This is Exhibit 3.2, so it has political, legal, demographics, and economic. Beyond that, the social, cultural, technological, and global. So I think is so they are attending the movie theater industry, right? So what they need to focus about is their customer and so yeah, the customer and the technological nowadays. Yeah, because nowadays technologies increase dramatically, so they have to adapt quickly. So technological and economic might be some important issues for movie theaters to cope with. Like economic, like they need to know what is the budget of the customer. According to the case, what external trends do managers at the movie theater chains have to deal with? Yeah, of course, it is technological because movie theaters in foreign countries cannot compete with mobile phones or iPad, like phones or iPad, because customer says that having iPad and mobile phone is more convenient than going to the theater alone. How do you think these trends might constrain the decisions made by managers at the movie theater chain? Like, yeah, there are two trends, like economical and technological. So the economical trend and technological trends will affect all the decisions of the managers at the movie theaters, because the economical trends that design that is the factor that decide whether a movie is what to see or not, because not every customer have high budgets to pay for the tickets. So these trends might affect on how many movies they will show on in the theater. What stakeholder do you think might be the most important to movie theater chains, and what interests might the stakeholder have? Wow, so hard. I don't know. Wait. Yeah, I will skip this because it's too hard. I don't know.